What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to an episode of WNN, a music production news source on YouTube. I'm your host, Massive Hater, and today we'll be talking about the news. In our first story tonight, we have the biggest rapper in the world beefing with Anthony Fantano, aka the Needle Drop. Yes, Drake is beefing with a music blogger, or music reviewer, whatever you want to call him. I know, it's shocking. Why does my microphone look like someone trying to wear a beanie in a very hip way? Okay, so the situation starts off with Anthony Fantano putting this video out on his second channel that says, Drake slid into my DMs. And in this video, he goes on saying that Drake basically sent him a vegan cookie recipe. And I think there's a little bit of like some subtle hints at what's happening here throughout this. Well, first off, you can tell this isn't the real DM that he sent because, I mean, I really don't think Drake would say, can always hope you'll like the next one. There's a few fishy things about this to begin with here. He says he's going to send him a great vegan cookie recipe that he would love for him to try. And then throughout the thing, there's several references to salt, which I think is interesting. He's leading on to the fact that this is not the real DM or that the real DM is incredibly salty. It's a little fun joke here. I guess Fantano leaking out this idea that he DM'd him and putting out the wrong information baited Drake into leaking the real DM, which is much, much worse. I don't know if he was led to do this because he was just like, no, you're not telling the truth. Or no, I would never eat vegan cookies, or I would never share with you a vegan cookie recipe. But basically, this is the real DM he sent him here. So he told Fantano, your existence is a light one, and the one is because you are alive, and because you somehow wiped a black girl. I'm feeling a light to decent one on your existence. So yeah, Drake seeming very salty here. Not sure why. Maybe he just recently saw the review on his most recent record. But I feel like Fantano has a pretty reasonable take on Drake's music overall and Drake's most recent record. I actually thought that recent record was terrible too. So I'm not sure if he thought this DM was going to make him look good or something, but if I sent this to someone, I would be trying to hide it. I don't know, I wouldn't be screenshotting it and posting it on my story. Fantano made a follow-up video on it here. Yeah, he clearly knows a lot about Fantano because he used his rating system against him, and he knows that he has a black wife, which is kind of weird. I feel like he must be pretty familiar with his content. It would have been much better if he sent them the cookie recipe. I wonder what would have happened if Drake didn't reveal the DMs. Like, would Fantano have left it at the vegan cookie recipe thing? Because that paints Drake in a much more positive light, I feel like. Actually, overall, kind of like Fotano. That's what Drake considers him, Fotano. I actually overall like Fantano. I actually feel like he's a pretty reasonable, level-headed guy. And I think his takes on music are, like, they're not always what you want them to be. But I think he does a pretty good job overall, like, analyzing things objectively. I mean, there's always going to be a subjective nature to it because it's music. But I don't know. I feel like he does a pretty good job on it. The biggest artist in the world is throwing playground insults at a YouTube music reviewer. I mean, it's actually pretty nice of Fantano to like kind of like hit it, and then also two to like kind of extend the arm out to him afterwards and not like hold some sort of grudge against him, because I mean, he said some slightly personal shit there. I don't know if everyone would handle that the same way. I think Drake takes people not liking his music very seriously. From my perspective, it seems like he may have a bit of an ego thing going on. Drake, that is. I mean, that might be putting it lightly, to be honest. News. In our next story, we got some good news. Well, the OP1 is being discontinued indefinitely. Hallelujah. Now, if only the whole company would go under, that'd be great. Yeah, you know, I shouldn't say I want the whole company to go under. They just make hipster overpriced shit. Like, what else more is there to say? I don't know. Even like the basic things they make, like a computer case, are way overpriced and look stupid to me. Okay, Teenage Engineering reportedly discontinuing the OP1 for good this time. And no, it's not because it's not velocity sensitive. Neither is the OP1 field. Apparently, they're going to no longer manufacture it because they are missing components for it. They also have to cancel existing pre-orders on the synth. Honestly, I think the main reason why this thing ever took off was just because of the visuals on the screen and like I don't know, it just has a very hipster, simple look to it. Like, in terms of features, there's nothing really that great or wowing about it. This is according to an email cited from a TE German distributor as its source, but there's been no official word from this on the Teenage Engineering website yet. So this is possible, it's not completely true, but if their distributor says they're no longer going to be making them, it would lead you to believe that they're not actually going to be making them. So it's possible, this may not be completely true, we don't know 100% yet, but this is a story so far. You can still purchase it on the website for $13.99. Beware though, they may not actually have them or be making them. News. In our next story, a Daft Punk fan has converted a vintage phone into a MIDI controller to play around the world. Call that shit Daft Junk. This is what the phone looks like, and that's what Daft Punk looks like. Daft Punk has quit making music in 2021. We all know that's never the case for good. There's always a comeback. So it was actually a YouTuber that did it. Well, I mean, he has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna call him a YouTuber. James Pop Rhythm Kolpak transformed a vintage rotary phone into a MIDI controller and vocoder. So it's a MIDI controller using the push buttons to generate the signals for musical tones. I'm surprised Teenage Engineering isn't trying to sell this for $500. So he took apart the old device and remapped the purpose of buttons and wires. He programmed it to play a pentatonic scale in a major 7th semitone. And he was able to replicate perfectly the 1997 Grammy Award-winning track Around the World. He tweaked the headset to give it a vocoder. Let's hear what that sounds like here. Wow, this guy's only got 19 subscribers. I think maybe everyone should throw this guy a sub. Hopefully he uploads more content. I'm gonna throw him a sub for this because this is pretty interesting. I will say this, the timing does have a little bit of something to be desired, but hey, he's performing on a vintage telephone, so, you know, it's not gonna be perfect. This guy looks a bit like Jim Gaffigan. Well, that was pretty epic, if I do say so myself. In our next story, EVENTIDE Audio has released the PHYSION, I think that's how you say it, multi-effect plugin. The PHYSION MK2 is a powerful, modern approach to multi-effects, delivering a new dimension of sounds. It combines our best-in-class transient tonal separation with world-class EVENTIDE effects, opening the door to practical mixing solutions and creative applications. It features improved structural split detection from split EQ, polyphonic pitch shifting algorithm, reverse delays, sidechain input, resizable GUI. Oh shit, it's never a good sign when they put that in the features. Okay, so the plan here was to check out the PHYSION musical examples, but it's 11 minutes long. Nobody got time for that. In our next story, GPU Audio now supports Radeon cards. That's the whole story. Moving on. News? In our next story, have you ever wondered how you could control your hardware synths with a MIDI controller, but without a computer? Fear not. Well, don't fear it, because that's the name. It's called Not. This is what it looks like. It looks like a circuit board. I guess it looks like that because it shows you the signal path of it or something. I don't know. It's a standalone USB MIDI host. This dinky box, well, that's not very nice of them, enables you to plug in your MIDI controller on one side and transmit/receive MIDI to and from your hardware instruments on the other. And you can update the firmware of it in the future when it needs to be. It's an open hardware project by pressing the mode button while the device is connected to a computer. It costs $89 for the pre-order, and it should be out by the 12th of December. That's pretty close to my birthday. So if anyone want to give me a birthday present, probably don't give me this. I don't have any hardware since I don't have room even, that's why. News. In our next story, KORG introduces a new lightweight and affordable digital piano. It's got 88 keys. Love piano, love Liano is the tagline here. Steady guys, we've only just met. Oh my god. It features the sound of an Italian cut. Fuck me. This episode must be boring. I'm like just yawning nonstop. Liano is lightweight and features the sound of an Italian concert grand. This can be played using the premium 88-note light touch keyboard, which is designed to suit beginners who don't want a heavy key action. I mean, this isn't really a guitar, guys. I feel like a piano is pretty easy to play. Oh, it doesn't have a screen? Oh, it doesn't have a screen? No, never mind then. So you can use batteries or an AC adapter. It costs £339. In our next story, Deadmau5 is back in the news. This time, not for cryptocurrency. This time, because he's talking shit. about MIDI. The Canadian producer expressed dissatisfaction with the protocol, highlighting alternatives such as OSC, Open Sound Control, and DMX, while bemoaning the lack of support for these in popular DAWs. I would love to see more protocol support in DAWs, up to and including DMX. Ableton's been cool, but it really lacks in protocol modularity. It's just like, oh, here's MIDI. Here's an antiquated 60-year-old protocol you guys still use. Oh, it was invented in 1981. So that's about 40 years, actually. He's off by about 20 years there. Maybe he was just exaggerating to make a point, but still nonetheless, it's wrong. He's wrong. But it is outdated, yes. A whole coalition or group of experts that have been talking about the spec for years and years. They're probably just smoking weed, if I had to guess. They're probably just smoking weed and making like no progress. Okay, this one's interesting. Do you swear in your games too much? Well, fear not, there is now an interface for people that swear. I know, they have everything nowadays. Check out this new M Audio gaming/streaming interface. Looks kind of cool. It's called M Game. Not the best name. Although there are some cool things about this. Like you can play samples and voice effects. And it's got like a little mixer in it, it looks like. That's kind of cool. The most interesting thing about this though is that there's a button to bleep yourself with any sort of sound you want. So if you have a potty mouth like I do, you could just press the bleep button or the fart button or whatever button you want to use. So the solo version is $199, the dual version is $299. There's a sample section containing 2 banks. The solo is able to take 3 samples each, while the dual can take 5 each. These samples can be chosen from a large selection of horn noises, laughter, sirens, a comical sad trombone noise, and more from within the M-Game software. Your own samples can also be recorded, edited, saved, imported, and uploaded. I was gonna say, if you can't put your own samples, this is dumb, because those sound stupid. So it's like a combination of like a mini stream deck, but with an interface and a mixer, sorta. I guess that's kind of cool. It's not a bad idea. News. In our next story, BEATPORT has canceled their inaugural Reconnect Summit. I'm guessing because of the Vice investigation that took place. It has become increasingly apparent that now is not the right time for BEATPORT to host this summit. It is clear we have work to do, and we will take this time to focus on the well-being of our employees. And we'll continue to collaborate with our industry partners and DEI experts to arrive at a better, more productive path forward for our company and our industry as a whole. So if you're planning, what the fuck, dude? So if you're planning to go to this, they're going to issue a refund. Some artists that were supposed to be there were Deadmau5, Richie Houghton, and A-Track. Heard of him. So yeah, just like I said, it seems like it had to do with the toxic workplace culture due to a Vice report featuring racism, sexism, and bullying. Yikes. News. Shoes. In our next story, Teenage Engineering has another fucking spot in this fucking program. Basically, they're teasing a vinyl collab with Yuri Suzuki. Let's look at this overpriced shit here. Oops, this page does not exist. Did they delete it? What? Looks like it's canceled. Just like the BEATPORT thing, it's canceled. Guess they don't plan on doing it anymore. Maybe they ran out of parts. In our next story, we've got some free shit for you. Only one thing though, but it's a Ableton Max for Live device, so if you don't use Ableton, there's the door. This Max for Live device named Sting will generate acid lines for you. Acid bass lines, I'm guessing. That's what they mean by that. It's free and guaranteed to put a smile on your face. Good luck. Came up with the idea for Sting 10 years ago. Started like half a joke. Can I program something that can generate acid lines? And it turned out to be a great musical tool and super popular device. Since then, I saw several iterations where they were being made public. Allows you to generate anything from atonal to acid lines and fluidly morph between them. And you can also transpose the root note via MIDI. Alright, so you click the smiley to generate a new sequence. Give me some Unison vibes here, but it's free, so have no fear. Density morphs between 16 variations of the sequence. Type morphs between 16 tonal, blah, blah, blah. And it's free. Anyways, thank you for watching this episode of WNN. I'm your host, Massive Hater, Weaver Beats. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, like the video. Trying to get to 20,000 by the end of the year. I think we can still do it, guys. I don't know, we haven't been growing as much lately since that boom earlier in the year. Tell your friends that they produce music. Tell them even if they don't produce music. We're kind of desperate. Make sure to check out the merch if you haven't. It should be embedded below the video here, and consider supporting the channel through Patreon or channel member links. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.